Very nicely done, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Warriors and Quiet Waters' third annual State of the Organization Address. Whether you're here with us at Quiet Waters Ranch or tuning in from across the country, thank you so much for giving the gift of time to be part of this important conversation. Before we begin, I have just a few housekeeping notes. At the conclusion of today's address, we will transition into a Q&A session. If you are joining us in person and think of a question during the remarks, please write it on a piece of paper and place it in the basket that will be passed around during today's remarks. For those of you watching online, please feel free to type your questions into the comments box, as those will be monitored throughout. My name is Emily Sather, and I have the privilege of serving as the Chief Development Officer of Warriors and Quiet Waters. What a gift it is to welcome you to today's address. This annual event is a chance for us to reflect on what we have accomplished together in 2024, to share where we're headed in 2025 and beyond, and to reaffirm our enduring commitment to meeting the needs of post-9/11 combat veterans and their loved ones. Thank you to everyone whose support has brought us to this point. As you'll hear in the address, we have ambitious goals, and we know that with you by our side, we can accomplish each and every one of them. I have the honor of introducing Warriors and Quiet Waters Chief Executive Officer, retired Marine Colonel Brian Gilman. Throughout his distinguished military career, Brian lived by the words of General James Mattis: "The privilege of command is command." As someone who has been part of WQW since he joined our team, I can attest that Brian continues to live by these words today, for he is a humble, passionate, determined, and inspirational leader. During Brian's military service, he led Marines in combat through 4 combat tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. Brian commanded Marines at every level, from platoon through regiment. During his tour on the Joint Staff, Brian discovered a new calling: advocating for transitioning service members and veterans. We are grateful that this discovery led him to retire 3 years early to assume leadership of WQW in 2020. As a 5th-generation Montanan, Brian is grateful for the opportunity to return to his Montana roots along with his wife and 2 sons, becoming the driven leader that Warriors and Quiet Waters needed to help us refine and relentlessly pursue our mission to equip post-9/11 combat veterans to thrive. With that, please help me welcome Brian Gilman. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Emily. Hello, everyone. To each of you in this room, and to those watching our live stream online, thank you for joining us today for the 3rd annual Warriors and Quiet Waters State of the Organization Address. Today, we gather as a community of believers, believers in strength, resilience, and the extraordinary potential of post-9/11 combat veterans, not as victims, but as individuals forged by service and capable of thriving leadership. We're believers in the power of nature, not just to heal, but to transform. Each year, this State of the Organization is an opportunity to reflect, to take stock of where we have been, and to commit ourselves to the goals that we have set for the future of this organization. And make no mistake, we have important goals that we are getting after. At Warriors and Quiet Waters, we don't just offer powerful weeks, we're building powerful futures. At Warriors and Quiet Waters, we believe in transparency, because transparency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of everything that we do. Our warriors trust us. to provide a space where they can let down their guard, make meaning of their past, rediscover their purpose, and take ownership of their future. And you trust us to contribute your time, your resources, and your belief in our mission towards real, lasting change in the lives of the warriors that we serve. Today, I'll walk you through our accomplishments from 2024, why the urgency to do more has never been greater, how we are answering that call, and most importantly, how all of you can help. Because our work is far from done. So let's talk about what we achieved together in 2024. We served more warriors than ever before in our flagship program, Built for More. Built for More is a 9-month evidence-based journey that challenges warriors to push beyond perceived limits and discover meaning, resilience, and purpose, not despite combat adversity, but because of it. We welcome more military spouses and caregivers into our programming, recognizing that healing isn't just necessary for the individual who served, but that healing must also happen in families, relationships, and communities. Our alumni engagement program expanded, giving warriors exciting opportunities to reconnect with each other, to build regional networks, to support their peers as volunteers in our program, and to reinforce that sense of brotherhood and sisterhood that is so critical after service. Transformation takes time. That's why at Warriors in Quiet Waters, we never say goodbye. We launched the Warriors in Quiet Waters podcast, reaching listeners across the country and starting real, raw conversations about what it means to transition to civilian life after service, to rediscover purpose, and to build a thriving life. The podcast is now in the top 50% of all podcasts. Thanks to the generosity of a longtime supporter, as well as a Montana-based trust and its devoted trustees, we finalized the purchase of Legacy Canyon, giving us private and permanent access to world-class fly fishing for our program participants. We were one of 4 Montana-based nonprofits that Governor Gianforte chose to donate a portion of his state salary to. We continue to be recognized as a nonprofit that delivers highly impactful outcomes for our constituents while maintaining the highest standards of effectiveness and transparency, reflected in our top ratings by Charity Navigator, Candid, and Great Nonprofits. And perhaps most importantly, we proved what we have always known. Built for More is achieving the outcomes that we need it to achieve. Impact should be more than what just people say. It should be something we can see, measure, and build on. Working with Syracuse University's Institute for Veterans and Military Families, we measured the change in Built for More participants that confirm our approach is changing lives, not just in the moment, but for the long haul. What we know is that many combat veterans, the battlefield isn't where the struggle ends. It's where a new fight begins, the fight for purpose, the fight for connection, the fight to feel a life that feels worth living again. Post 9/11 combat veterans face an existential crisis of connection, identity, and purpose after they leave the service. The Department of Defense's reintegration programs don't address the psychological and emotional void that's left after service and combat. Without purpose, connection, and security, veterans are at higher risk of depression, isolation, and suicide. At Warriors in Quiet Waters, we don't just help veterans transition. Not only are we a left-of-bang suicide intervention for combat veterans, but we empower them to thrive and to live purpose-driven lives, and we can prove it. Warriors in Quiet Waters' Built for More program is delivering the following outcomes for our veteran participants. They start Built for More lacking purpose and complete it on a path of living purpose-driven lives. There's a 2x increase in veterans reporting a strong sense of purpose and a clear direction in life following Built for More. 100% of warriors reported no longer experiencing frequent worries. We saw a 4-fold reduction of feelings of nervousness and stress that linger. A 10-fold increase in warriors reporting that they have people in their lives that they can depend on. Before Built for More, warriors' sense of thriving was well beyond that of the U.S. national population average. After Built for More, warriors' sense of thriving eclipsed the U.S. population average, jumping 127%. Warriors in Quiet Waters doesn't just hope for impact. We create it and we measure it, and the numbers speak for themselves. But numbers don't tell the whole story. Let me tell you about Chris Beach. Chris served as a U.S. Navy SEAL combat medic, deploying to Iraq and Afghanistan. When he left the Navy, he lost more than just a career. He lost his tribe, his identity, and his sense of purpose. For the 12 years after leaving the Navy, Chris struggled to find connection in the civilian world. He felt like he had to hide his scars in order to fit in. Then he came to Quiet Waters Ranch. And for the first time in more than a decade, he felt at peace. Chris immersed himself in the Built for More program. In his time at the ranch, having peak experiences in nature, Chris and his cohort of fellow veterans shared meals, told stories, and learned a new skill. Standing in Montana's wild rivers, Chris felt the weight of the world lift. He shared that in the week at Quiet Waters Ranch, I made deeper connections with the 6 people in my cohort than with anyone else I had met in the 12 years since I left the Navy. Chris completed the Built for More program. He told us that in the 9 months of Built for More, he made more progress in his mental health journey than he had in over a decade of organized therapy, because he found his team again. Chris now leads over 90 physician assistants in the Virginia Beach healthcare system. He's thriving, he's leading, he's serving a new purpose. His cohort holds him accountable. They push him forward. They remind him that he doesn't have to carry the darkness alone. Chris's story shows that Warriors in Quiet Waters doesn't just help warriors move forward, we help them forge powerful futures, grounded in purpose, connection, and leadership. Our approach isn't just about reintegration. It's about reawakening that purpose, identity, and connection. And we measure it so that we can prove it. We don't just deliver good weeks, we build good lives. This is what your support has made possible. But for every Chris we serve, there are hundreds more waiting. In 2025, 7 times more veterans applied to the Built for More program than we currently have the capacity to serve. And the urgency is building. At Warriors in Quiet Waters, we wake up every day with a growing sense of urgency. Urgency, because the need is greater than ever. Urgency, because there are over 1,520 post-9/11 combat veterans currently on our program waitlist. Each one ready to move forward, but needing a path. And urgency, because too often our nation gets the story about veterans wrong. Yes, post-traumatic stress is a real thing. It affects hundreds of thousands of post-9/11 combat veterans every year. But it's only part of the story. The deeper story is the opportunity for post-traumatic growth, the chance to become stronger because of the adversity we faced. Veterans are not broken. They are extraordinary individuals, forged by service, shaped by adversity, and capable of continued leadership and impact. Unfortunately, too much of society only sees the wounds, and they miss the resilience, the courage, and the untapped future lives of these warriors. At Warriors in Quiet Waters, we choose a different lens. We focus not on illness, but on potential. Not just on surviving, but on thriving. Traditional approaches to mental health often pathologize what veterans experience. Many of the warriors who come through our program have been told by clinicians that they'll carry their burdens forever, that they'll always need medication or therapy just to cope. We believe, and we can prove, that there's a better way. Built for More is rooted in the science of human thriving. It's grounded in positive psychology, not in pathology. It equips veterans not just to heal, but to reclaim a life of purpose and connection. When a warrior reconnects with their identity, rediscovers their mission, and rebuilds their sense of community, they don't just survive after service, they lead. This is why Built for More matters. This is why Warriors in Quiet Waters exists, and this is why we must do more. Because every day that a warrior waits is a day of potential deferred, a future leader left idle, a family left without their strongest cornerstone, a community left without one of its most powerful builders. We will not let them wait in vain. We feel the urgency deep in our bones, and we are committed to answering that call. We are not slowing down. We are expanding, evolving, and adapting because the needs of our warriors demand it. We updated our strategic plan, setting bold and scalable goals to double the number of warriors served by 2030, without compromising the depth and transformation that defines Warriors in Quiet Waters. We will work diligently to incorporate our programs for military spouses and caregivers into the Built for More framework so that we can deliver similar, highly impactful outcomes for military family members that served and continue to serve our nation, caring for our veterans. We redefined our organizational vision and brand promise to better reflect the combined purpose we share as members of the Warriors in Quiet Waters tribe. Warriors in Quiet Waters is this: to unleash thriving veterans that make America stronger and inspire the next generation to serve. And our brand promise is our prime core value: warriors first, always. We introduced the Make It Matter coin, a tangible reminder to every warrior that they are not alone, that their choices matter, and that they can make meaning to their combat experiences by investing in a powerful future. We built and launched a new website that directly supports the goals we as an organization are getting after. Our website also now hosts a resources page, so all veterans who need and can benefit from Built for More content have a library of resources to access it. We are actively building the Warrior Support Network, a cohesive network of reputable organizations that offer targeted, high-quality support to warriors in critical areas of need, including mental health, suicide prevention, medical care, substance use assistance, and employment support. By streamlining partnerships and aligning resources, this network aims to deliver comprehensive and accessible services to veterans to enhance their well-being, their resilience, and their quality of life. And we continue to refine Built for More, because as the needs of post-9/11 combat veterans evolve, so too must this program, because it is the future of veterans thriving. As I said in a video earlier this year, Built for More is not a vacation. It's not just a fishing trip. It's about transformation. It's about helping veterans answer the critical questions: who am I? What is my purpose? How can I build a meaningful life after service? Built for More challenges, equips, and empowers veterans to step into the next phase of their lives with clarity of purpose, while feeling wholly supported by a tribe that will forever have their six. How you can help us answer the call. Gratitude for those who serve our nation is not enough. If we want to honor the service and the sacrifice of our veterans in a way that matters, we must go beyond thank yous and take action. Our mission moves us forward because you choose to move it forward. Here's how you can help. Attend an event that fuels purpose. Our events aren't just fundraisers. They're catalysts for building a movement of Americans who believe that thriving veterans make America stronger. In 2025, we're introducing 2 new signature events to Warrior Taste Fest, each designed not just to raise funds, but to deepen our shared commitment to those who serve. Legacy Day, happening right now, is our first. It's an invite-only gathering where we reflect on the sacrifices of America's heroes and grow closer in our shared mission. It's an opportunity where we, the Warriors in Quiet Waters team, can show appreciation to you, our dedicated supporters. But today isn't just about gratitude. It's about alignment. It's about looking each other in the eye and saying, we're in this together. On September 12th, Warrior Taste Fest returns to the Commons in Bozeman for the 7th year. It's our largest annual fundraiser and one of the most joyful expressions of resilience that you'll ever witness. Not just a food and art extravaganza, it's a toast to the power of purpose. And finally, an evening of elegance, patriotism, and community is coming on November 14th. Salute to Service. This Montana black tie celebration includes a gourmet dinner, an insightful and commanding keynote delivered by Lieutenant General Mark Schwartz, a USO-style show, live music, and dancing. But more importantly, it's a night to honor veterans in a way that matches the weight of their service. Don't forget to save the date. Tickets go on sale in July. You can serve as a volunteer. Warriors in Quiet Waters was born on the spirit of volunteerism. And while we now have a full-time team, volunteers remain the beating heart of our mission. Whether you're volunteering on a program or at one of our annual events, tabling a local event or a small fundraiser, housing a sayonara dinner as a group or an organization, or joining a committee to support our exciting event lineup, you're helping build an ecosystem where veterans don't just survive, they thrive. Even if we can't place you right away, we want you to connect. Visit our website to learn more and submit an application. Our volunteer manager will connect with you about how your skills and your passion can best align with our mission. You can donate to fuel a proven transformation. Warriors in Quiet Waters programs are free to veterans, but they are not free to deliver. It costs $18,000 to support one veteran through the full 9-month Built for More program, followed by alumni engagement for life. This isn't charity. It's leadership capital for America's future. Every dollar you give multiplies, fueling stronger veterans, stronger families, and stronger communities. Right now, as I said, 1,520 veterans are waiting for their chance, and that number grows every week. That's the demand, and with your help, we can meet it. Here's how you can give. Donate to our Built for More Impact Fund today. Every dollar gets us closer to raising the $3.96 million we need to raise this year to fuel our programming. You can do this by going to our website, wqwf.org, by calling our office, or by mailing a check to Warriors in Quiet Waters. For those online, you can scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. You can join our monthly donor community, The Mend. If you do, you will receive an invitation to Legacy Day next year. You can host a peer-to-peer fundraiser in your community that benefits Warriors in Quiet Waters. You can turn your next race, birthday, or milestone into a campaign for Warriors in Quiet Waters. Explore planned giving, stock deck donations, or corporate sponsorships. Give through your donor-advised fund. If you're 70 and a half or older, direct your mandatory IRA rollover to Warriors in Quiet Waters, tax-free. If you're a business leader, align your brand with a mission that delivers results, and you can measure the lives that you change. However you choose to give, know that your generosity fuels our mission and makes a direct impact on the lives of the warriors that we serve. We have momentum, but momentum alone is not enough. It must be fed by commitment, by courage, and by conviction. The veterans we serve have already answered the call on distant battlefields, and again is a fight for a life of meaning after service. Now it's our turn to answer the call for them. Because when a warrior rediscovers purpose, a family is strengthened. When a family is strengthened, a community is fortified. And when a community is fortified, America grows stronger. At Warriors in Quiet Waters, we're not just giving veterans a good week. We're rebuilding powerful futures. Futures grounded in resilience, fueled by purpose, and lifted by service. This is how we honor their sacrifice. This is how we build a stronger nation. This is how we inspire the next generation to serve. Warriors first always. Thank you. Do we have questions?
We do. Thank you to everybody who submitted questions. The first is, what national organizations do you work with?
Thank you. That's a great question. We work with several national organizations. The first that comes to mind is an organization called the Travis Manion Foundation. We host Travis Manion Foundation's Gold Star Teens Expedition here every year at Quiet Waters Ranch. That Gold Star Teens Expedition is designed to connect Gold Star teens who are teens who lost a parent to service to character and service in their lives going forward. And they come here and spend a week at Quiet Waters Ranch, and they do service projects around the Gallatin Valley, able to experience the incredible beauty of nature that we have here at Warriors in Quiet Waters, and once again, connecting to that character and service moving forward. Other organizations that we partner with include an organization, name's escaping me now, it's a hard one. Higher Ground USA. We partnered with Higher Ground USA in the same manner several times, where we've hosted their programs here at Quiet Waters Ranch, allowing them to conduct meaningful outdoor programming here in Northwest Montana, both in the winter and the summer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
Can you please explain how your selection process works to identify participants from your long waiting list?
I can. I'll try to summarize a complicated process. So one of the opportunities that I had on active duty in the Marine Corps was to lead Marine Special Operations Command's assessment and selection program, where that was the program that we put Marines through to select those that would go on to serve in MARSOC. And we brought a lot of those lessons learned here to how we conduct what we call our assessment, selection, and placement process for warriors. It's a very rigorous process. We open up an application period 3 times a year in order to provide warriors an opportunity to apply for our program. It's an online application that's very rigorous. It includes the participants or the applicants answering questions on what we call psychometric scales that can give us a sense of where they are in terms of thriving, in terms of anger management, in terms of a sense of purpose. It includes several open text-based responses where we ask them to answer critical questions like, why do you need the Built for More program? What do you plan to gain from participating in the Built for More program? Can you commit to the Built for More program? Do you have time to commit to the Built for More program? We collect all those applications during the application period, and then each application goes through at least 2 reviews. The first starts within our program team, where members of our program team receive every application. They review it in detail, and they rate it according to need and to fit, to ensure that it's a veteran that has a need and a veteran that fits within the Built for More program and wants to achieve the outcomes the program's designed to achieve. Once that initial review is done, the same applications go to other members of our team that are not part of the program, and they go through it and they do the same thing, assign it a rating for fit and need. If there's any major disparities between the 2 ratings, it comes together for a conference where we resolve those ratings. And then we stack rank the applicants in terms of fit and need scores, and we start calling up applicants. And they go through a 30-minute interview with a member of our staff, once again to confirm fit and need. Once we've done that, we'll start working with the veterans to find a week that they can start the Built for More program here at Quiet Waters Ranch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How many warriors will be able to attend a Built for More program in 2025?
In 2025, we're serving approximately 164 service members in our Built for More program. As I stated in my remarks, our goal is to double that by 2030. It's not enough. We have over 1,500 veterans on our wait list, and we're trying to get after that as quickly as we can.
And lastly, perhaps talk about the history of WQW and how we have transitioned from a 1-week program to a life-changing organization.
I'm honored to do that with our founder, Eric, sitting in the front row here. So, Warriors in Quiet Waters was founded on an idea that happened between a Marine and his spouse on a fly fishing trip in Canada in 2006, when Eric and his late wife, Jean, were fly fishing. And Jean made the comment to Eric during that trip that she wished, and this was at the height of the war, a lot of wounded warriors coming home. She made the comment that she wished that they could share this incredible experience fly fishing with all the wounded warriors that were coming home. Eric looked at her and told her, hey, that's a good idea. Let's talk about that on the drive home, which they did. And when they arrived in Bozeman, they had a plan. Veteran convened a public meeting, told him what he was trying to accomplish, recruited a whole bunch of volunteers to come together and make it happen. Once he did that, he flew down to San Diego, California, where he met with the medical staff at the medical center in San Diego and convinced them to put our first flight of wounded warriors on a military flight, to Bozeman in 2007. These warriors still had bandages on their wounds. They still had Navy chow hall food in their guts. And that's how we got started. And Warriors in Quiet Waters ran what we called back then two fly fishing experiences, FXs, that year. And that FX was a week-long immersion in nature, a week-long opportunity for these warriors to connect with other warriors going through similar experiences, a week-long experience for them to connect with civilians who cared so deeply about them and were volunteering in the program. and they immersed them in nature that we're blessed by here in Montana, and they taught them how to fly fish. And that program changed lives for years. And we were recently reminded by that, how fly fishing can have an impact on human beings by a testimonial that was written by one of our Built for More warriors just a couple weeks ago. Her name's Amanda. She's a U.S. Navy combat veteran. And she wrote us an incredible testimonial about how fly fishing changed her life. Just fly fishing. She's at the start of the Built for More program. She has 8 more months to go. But the effect of fly fishing on her was profound. And I ask that you go on our website and you read the blog that captures her testimonial about how fly fishing changed her life. And that's how we got our start. And every year, Eric and an all-volunteer force of board members, guides, outfitters came together and incrementally increased the number of programs that we were conducting every year. And that program continued to change lives every year. And it set the base, the conditions that we were able to build on that have placed us where we are now with the Built for More program. And without that work of that founding volunteer board and our founders, and the way that they established norms within Warriors in Quiet Waters, norms like making sure that the first thing that we do is build trust with our warriors, that we make this feel like a home away from home, and that we always place warriors first always, are those principles that endured through the 18 years of this organization and gave us a base that we could build on when the board recognized in 2019 that our warriors were changing and the program needed to adapt with them. And it was on that base that we were able to build the Built for More program and deliver the outcomes that we have. So while we have them in the room, I ask you all to join me in a round of applause for Eric and our founding board members. Thank you, Eric. I try to embarrass you every time I get, so thank you. I appreciate all of you being here for the Warriors in Quiet Water State of the Organization address. At this time, we're going to pause for an opportunity for us to share a meal, share each other's company, and we'll transition into the activities this afternoon a little bit later. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your support. Everything that we've accomplished because of you. Thank you.